what's happening in real estate right now in the Tampa Bay area. Hey guys, Kris Kennedy here, and who's this? Queen Elsa of Arundel with your Tampa Bay market update. In this market update, we're going to talk about what happened in April of this year, compare that to the previous few months, and as well as this time last year, or the year-over-year difference. It's pretty significant, the changes we're going to see here. It's a lot different than last market update. So let's go ahead and take a look. So there are a couple of major factors that we want to look at to determine what's going on. First is the number of units sold, and that helps us determine what the market activity is looking like. And the second is the average home sale prices, which helps us determine the value of the homes in the current market. So let's first look at units sold. In April of 2020, or last month, there were 3,851 homes sold. That is a 23% decrease from the previous month. How does that compare to this time last year? Because real estate is seasonal, we need to look at that. That is also a 27% decrease. So an even greater decrease if you factor in the year over year. There were 27% less homes sold from this time last year. Yes, that is a significant decrease in the amount of market activity and the amount of homes sold. But to understand if the number of units sold is significant, we have to look at the previous months and the previous years to see if the seasonality even makes sense to be any type of consideration. We know that market activity is slow due to coronavirus, but if we look at the number where we're at now for April, it's similar or somewhere in between January and February numbers before this whole pandemic affected anybody. Let's look at last year's activity and what we could typically expect for a real estate trend. Looking at this graph, we see a gradual increase from January all the way through to May, and then it floats just around those numbers until about September or October. Then we see a spike in December, likely because everybody wants to close their homes right before the end of the year. That confirms that this 25% or 27% drop in the number of home sales is quite significant for this time of year.
That's a big drop.
So let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening to the sale price averages. For April, the average sale price was $311,000 for this Tampa Bay area. That is a 1.72% increase from the previous month. That's significant because that's not a decrease.
Sale prices are up.
Well, compared to this time last year, we are up 7.7% from April of 2019. That is significantly up from this time last year. If less homes are selling, wouldn't home prices go down? Why would home prices be up and not down if less people are buying homes? There are other factors to consider, such as supply and demand and the current amount of inventory that's available for people to buy homes. So let's go ahead and take a look at that next. So to look at supply and demand, one thing we can look at is how many new listings are coming to market compared to the previous months and the previous years. If we look at that, we see a 34% decrease in the amount of new listings coming up in April compared to the previous month, and a 36% decrease compared to this time last year. That is quite significant, and that is even a bigger drop than the amount of homes that have sold.
Wow, that's a big drop.
Why is that important to understand? Well, if we were already at low amounts of inventory, 2 or 3 months of inventory going into this whole pandemic situation, now relative to the amount of buyers that are out there still shopping, there is even less inventory for people to pick out. We're at about a 2.5 months of inventory in the Tampa Bay area market, which is more into the seller market territory, which is similar to how it's been the past few years.
3 months of inventory?
Interest rates are still very low, so home sellers, when interest rates are low, you have more buyers that can look at your property because they can afford it with lower interest rates. And home buyers, in this type of market, if you're able to buy a home, that's great. If you find a home that you like and with low interest rates, go for it. It's likely that it's not going to last long, and even in this market today. So to wrap up this video, just to recap, we are seeing about a 25% decrease in market activity in terms of how many units are selling per month in this Tampa Bay market. We're also seeing even fewer homes come to the market, or new listings come to market, squeezing inventory even tighter than it was before. This could be a big factor in why the average sale prices are still up from last month or even this time last year, where it's still up 7.7% from this time last year, which is still pretty significant and over what leading economists expected to be at this point prior to any pandemics. If you guys have any questions about how to handle this dynamic, crazy real estate market, give me a call or reach out however. You have my contact information in the description if you don't have it already. I love talking about this stuff. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. It's a lot different than last market update, so let's go ahead and take a look. What do you think?
3 months of inventory.
That's right, 3 months of inventory, or less.